And we're
Wait.
live. Start.
Oh, we are? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. We're live. Thank you for everybody that's joined us and is watching live. And thank you also to all of our video participants for today's chat, Passion and Purpose. Before we get started with the discussion, I just want to give an introduction or allow everyone, all the video participants, to give an introduction to our audience about who they are. So let's go ahead and start with Benjamina.
Hi everyone, my name is Benzamina. I was born in Ghana, but I grew up in Italy. I'm currently living in Manchester, England, for uni. I just finished my second year of university. And yeah, I recently became part of the Ezibota family, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah.
Thank you, and we are equally excited. But yeah, actually, in all of my nerves, I forgot to tell you guys some of the things to mention. Benjamin did a great job. But if you can mention your name, I guess your current occupation or what you do, so creator, student, professional, XYZ, where you're currently located, as well as your country of origin and why you decided to join today's chat, that would be great. Also, if I butcher your name, I apologize in advance. I'm very Americanized, so blame society, not me. All right? Thank you for that. So next up, we're going to go ahead.
Apology accepted.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. Next up, we're going to ask Jen to introduce herself.
Hello, hi, I'm Jin. I am currently located in Chicago, Illinois, the U.S. I'm Kenyan by birth, but Ugandan father, Egyptian mother. I am a PR consultant, but I'm also currently doing my grad studies. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here. This is my first community chat. So yeah.
All right, Jen, thank you and welcome. We hope you enjoy yourselves as much as we are probably going to enjoy ourselves. Next up, I'm going to go to my old-time friend and veteran, EJ.
Hey! Hi, everyone. My name's Ijama Agikeze. What else about myself? I'm Nigerian American, so I was born in America. I was born in Augusta, Georgia. But I was, my parents are Nigerian. I'm Igbo. What else? I've been to a couple of chats, but this is my first chat in a long time. I'm based in Washington, D.C. And what else? I'm a legislative staffer in the United States Senate. That's what I do.
Wow, big time.
It's thanks to your prayers, Bila.
Yeah.
So.
Amen. Praise him. Yes. Jesus. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right. Thank you for that. Next up, we're going to go ahead with Mary. Mary, are you with us? Okay. Mary, you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
Sorry,
you.
I had to. Yeah, I had
the
YouTube video and then that going on at the same time. I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Okay. Hi. I'm Mary. I am Nigerian born. I was also raised there in Canada and in America. So I currently reside in Southern California, not too far from Los Angeles. And I recently graduated with a bachelor's degree in biochemistry. So I'm also a blogger and a freelance writer at the moment. And yeah, that's my life at this point.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And you're going to have to forgive me. See-it-san?
Sorry, it's Shaitan.
Shaitan, thank you.
Yeah. Hi guys, my name's Shaitan. People call me Shay mostly. I live in Canada. I'm a student. Currently I have a job, but I'm really a student. I'm studying global business and digital art. I'm back home right now. You might hear some screams. That's just my Nigerian family. Yeah, I was born and raised mostly in Nigeria. I mean, I moved here when I was 10 years old. Did I already say I'm from Canada? I'm Brampton. Okay, yes. Okay, I'm close to Toronto, Canada. There, and that's everything about me. Yeah.
I'm sure there's so much more to you, but thank you for the brief introduction. We
Thank you.
appreciate it, Shay. Nice of you to join us again. He was in our last chat. So was
Yeah.
Kunda. So
Yeah,
thank you.
this chat looks different. I'm really excited because I didn't think you guys were serious when you said it changes every time.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you for that. Next up, we're going to go ahead with Takunda.
Hi, can you hear me first and foremost? I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Alright, hi, my name is Takwinda. You can call me Taku for short, or calls me by my surname, Zimbabwe, and I am currently studying law. 10 years old. I was born and raised in Zimbabwe.
Thank you. Where'd you say you were again? Where are you currently?
Currently, I am in Cyprus. That's where I'm getting my degree. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Vincent, another Ezibota veteran.
Hi, sorry for the picture issue. I can't get myself to be seen today. My name is Vincent. I was born in Cameroon. I'm Nigerian, Igbo by birth. I went to school in Cameroon. I've gone to school in the United States, and currently I live and work in Iowa.
Okay, thank you. And then lastly, we have Wasil.
Why do I always go last?
I don't know. You're right next to me, so.
Okay, so my name is Wasil. I was born in Washington, D.C. I grew up in Nigeria. I spent 20 years in Nigeria, during which I went to college. And then I moved back to the U.S. like 9 years ago. I currently live in Arlington, Texas. I'm working on my PhD in environmental science, and I like writing every now and then. So that's all for me.
Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right, so the title of today's chat is Passion and Purpose. And unlike some of our other chats in which we've kind of focused on things that are more frustrating and things that kind of drain us as people, we decided to have this conversation about ourselves and, you know, why we do what we do, what kind of leads to our passions, what we hope to do with those passions, if at all anything. Some people want to affect their local communities. Some people want to affect the world on a global stage. So I would like for us to kind of explore the different degrees of impact and different interests that we all have as young Africans, you know, how our heritage affects that, if at all. So that's kind of the nature of our conversation. Does anybody have any questions before we proceed?
No, I just have a comment. Yeah, so many interesting people, and I'm really, really excited to speak with Mary finally. We've been chatting on Twitter. Chatting on Twitter forever.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Anyway, yeah, let's move forward.
Okay, let's. But yeah, that's exciting. I feel the excitement as well. All right, so I'm hoping we actually have a full chat, so this should be great. So just a few things. Try not to overtalk anybody. But also, if I ask a question, try not to let crickets talk. So just pipe up. Share what you think, and I'm really interested to learn about each and every one of you, and I'm sure our audience is as well. So first off, I just want to ask a simple question. What are you interested in, and what do you think shaped your interest? Now, it can range from a simple little hobby that you have to the PhD that Wasil is pursuing. So we can go ahead and just start off with EJ.
You always start off with me. I can't even get prepared for what you know what? Okay.
Yeah,
okay, so let me actually. I'm a nerd, so I actually take notes for these calls. So I'm prepared. So I split my interests in half. Like a recreational interest in terms of something that's a hobby that I think that could be a real thing in my life, or really what I believe I'm supposed to be doing instead of this, and my academic interests. So my academic interests are mainly health policy, especially as it pertains to the pharmaceutical industry. And the reason why I got into that was because Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, buddy.
Cool. So the reason why I got into that field, or what shaped my interest rather, was my dad, after he immigrated from Nigeria to the United States, and after he had me, he was hired at a pharmaceutical company. And we moved to Jersey. So I was born in Georgia, but my whole life I grew up in New Jersey. And he worked for a pharmaceutical company as an analytic chemist. He had a PhD in chemistry, right, as a research chemist. And I was always interested in that, but I only knew about a few kind of basic career choices when I was in high school. So, of course, if you're Igbo, especially if you're if you're a Nigerian in general, like, you know someone who's supposed to be a doctor, or everybody's supposed to be a doctor, or everyone's supposed to be a pharmacist or a nurse. So I went with that in college, but I switched up, decided to go the public health route and get a policy degree instead. So, and side note, shout out to everybody who recently graduated. Young lady who said she graduated before, me, Beulah, I got my fatigues in the back. Congratulations. I'm proud of you guys. Anyhow,
Amen.
I
Yes.
just graduated.
Yes.
Thank you.
Pursue.
I just graduated with my master's in public health, in health policy. So making that decision after college was really shaped my career interests and led to me going forward and getting a job in that field. So now I help a senator write health policy bills, laws, etc. In terms of just my personal interests, I really love writing. I used to do performance poetry for a while, but I like long-form writing a lot. I should have caught on to this when I was younger, but I always loved analyzing movies and TV shows, but I just thought, like, my parents did not respect that. My parents did not like TV, especially just really in general, anything on TV they didn't care about. But now I'm getting into it more. I'm taking classes and figuring out what that means for me. But yeah, I'm just following my interests in terms of writing right now. But that's it about me and my interests.
Okay, thank you for that. Does anybody want to share next? Don't want to have to call on people.
Yeah, I can jump in real quick. From what Ijoma just mentioned, there are a couple of things already that I think I have in common. One is I also like analytical chemistry. I'm also a chemist.
Great.
But I've deviated a little bit into the environmental side of things, and that's where my interests actually really spring, because having lived in Nigeria for as long as I did, there are lots of things that you can tell are wrong. One area that I decided I would like to focus on is water treatment, because there are lots of people that don't have water. So that's what really informed my getting into the major I'm in right now and deciding to go back to school for a PhD. So that's what I'm doing. And then on the side, I try to do lots of things in terms of trying to help people. That's the kind of person I am. I like helping people. Requires you doing projects that are going to actually make a difference on people's lives. I also like writing, obviously. I should have, I've been writing for a while, leisurely, but I recently only went back to like writing like a little bit more regularly. Let me see. Like I mentioned, I like helping people. So one of the things I do at my university, I just finished a term as the president of the Graduate Student Senate, where I've been trying to help graduate students, masters and PhD students, with certain things, things where our needs are not being met. So one of the big things I've been doing is working on careers. We don't have enough. We don't have enough things on campus where they help graduate students with careers. We have things for undergrads, but we don't have much for grad students. So a lot of people finish with graduate degrees where they don't even know what they're going to do next. So I've been trying to work on that during my term as president, and we actually won a mini grant to organize a few events. So those are some of the things I'm passionate about.
Thank you for that. Anybody else want to share? Then after that, I'll move on to one of the questions.
I'll go, I guess. So for me, I guess the big problem, well, I guess it depends on how you want to look at it, if it's a problem or a gift, but ever since I was little, I've kind of been a person that has dabbled into many things, lots of things that seem worlds apart. So like music, I was born doing that, sang from diapers. And then like being out middle school, I picked up playing the flute, and it got me pretty far. I actually um, one of my most memorable points in that was being able to play at the Walt Disney Concert Hall with a world-class symphony, which was really fun. And but as you heard, my major was biochemistry, because I've always been interested in the sciences, and I do come from a family um, where doing the sciences is kind of normal. So like my dad is a physics professor, and then my birth mom was a chemistry professor as well. So it was almost like in my blood. And then writing was another thing, especially in third grade, that I discovered. And so as I've like graduated recently, well, it was in December, but as I've graduated and kind of spent time like applying to places and whatnot for the next step, like I'm still trying to figure out what to do, because I can juggle them now, but I know at some point I'm going to have to make choices. But it's really, it's hard when you're passionate about all of those things. So I guess my balance is going to be trying to find a way to either intersect all of them in some way. I know people do that, or, you know, go with some and lose the other. Like either way, it's gonna hurt. Like, because I really do have a passion for all of them. But with writing, I do have a blog called barelymarrymary.com, and it's a lot of words, but whatever. And I love writing because I'm able to talk about the cross-cultural experience, just the human condition, and things that I've observed, and given like a lot of our experiences being that we come from, we come from Africa, but we do have, our Western side to us. Like we have perspectives I feel like are worth sharing, and so that's why I write for the most part. So.
All right, thank you for that. Appreciate it. So as we continue, like obviously we have a full chat, so we're gonna try to allow for everyone to share their thoughts. But as we continue, just be sure to, of course, pipe in, but also be sure to not go for too long, like 6-7 minutes. Not saying anyone that just spoke did, but I'm just saying for future reference. So, Shay, are you with us? Shay?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Shay, you're breaking my
Hello?
heart. Okay. I want you to be ready because you're
around.
gonna.
I didn't want to keep my video on.
Okay. Okay, you're gonna be the first person to answer this, so I need you to take close attention. Sorry, EJ, I did that to you earlier.
I'm fine.
So Shay, first I'm gonna ask Shay and then Jen if you can offer a follow-up. Why do you guys think that it's difficult for young people to pursue what they truly love? And when I say that, I mean, why do you think that we're seemingly unable to get jobs that also incorporate what we truly love? Fortunately, EJ has been able to do so, but that's not the reality of a lot of young people, especially a lot of young Africans. Is it the fault of the job market? Is it the fault of our family of origin? Like, where do you think the disconnect is? Why are we not able to do what we love? Starting with Shay, then if we can have Jen do the follow-up.
First of all, I think that's a very big question. But when you say we, you're talking about Africans, young Africans, but then you're also talking about these young Africans in different settings, different countries, etc. Mm-hmm. So I can talk about different things that may have affected them, but I can only talk about what I have experienced. So I think that the reason why people are unable to find what they love is there's an identity problem. I think that's one of the first things is that as growing up, they don't really end up finding who they are or begin to discover themselves because they're being told a lot of things, I feel. And that process doesn't just happen oh my God, I'm a bit frozen right now. I had an example in my mind I was going to say. Okay, I'm going to skip that point. So I think there's somewhat of an identity problem. But I also think that in especially like the Western society, the education system and the attitude towards working is I don't think it's, as kids, from my experience, it's not enforced. We're told, oh, you just choose what you want to do. You just choose, and like that's not how I feel about it. You didn't just choose. Like, they make it seem like a shopping list. Like, all this life, all this while you were in school, living with your parents, you played video games, you did this, you did that. You just completed a few tasks. No one geared you to say, wow, we're doing something productive. We're trying to come together as society. We're working. We're trying to build things. No one instilled that necessarily, especially in the education system. So I think people are like, oh yeah, I want to be like I remember this a lot of time in high school. I'm talking to someone like, so what are you gonna do after high school? They're like, well, I want to become a doctor. And then I look at their situation and I'm like, they're just taking one science class, or I literally know them, and I'm like, you're not geared up to go to university for a science degree. You will not pass. Not because I don't think they're good, but because they're just like, it's just a choice. It's just, I picked that. But I feel like there needs to be a more intentional way of identifying what you want to do, because most kids we're just enjoying ourselves in high school. We're just living at home. I said that video games. We're not going out, volunteering, doing work, building this, being part of this project. Discover what aspects of life we're interested in joining, what task force are we interested in joining, and that always affects. So now when they get out of when they get out of school, they're not thinking, what can I do? Which one of these tasks fulfills me the most? That's not what they're thinking. They're like, they just want money. So I think that whole the problem, like, that's the problem, is that no one's actively thinking of what tasks they want to do, what project, what things they want to see, what results will benefit society. No one's thinking of those things. It's just, I choose this because it pays this. I choose this because I like pictures. So it's like a very simple-minded approach from a student age, and that's, I think, is the main reason why young people, struggle with that. So yeah.
Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate that. Just real quick, I wanted to share some feedback that we got from Twitter from at RexForNam.
Oh, we're live?
Raymond. Yeah, we are kind of live.
Yeah, girl.
yeah,
girl. I think I look cute right now.
He said we're live. But no, he tweeted, can't follow your passion if you can't feed yourself. And I think that definitely answers what you were saying before, Shay, that the question is very, very broad. So it's like, who exactly are we talking about, and like, why can't they follow their passion? So that's what he was saying, which is really important. And then second, I just wanted to say, I know at least in America, I'll talk about from what I know, but children like 17 years old and 18-year-old are asked to choose the rest of their life as soon as they graduate high school. There's some kind of post on Tumblr floating around saying, it's funny how we expect for kids to have to raise their hands to go use the restroom, and then as soon as they graduate, we're like, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? So I think that's also a problem. Like, people have not yet found themselves, even though you're supposed to do that in college. People are still very young. So that whole process, it's kind of like, it's unfair. But yeah, so thank you for that. And Jen, did you have anything to add to that question?
I think that's a very loaded question that deserves a multifaceted response, but I can only respond from my perspective as a young immigrant African woman. For me personally, I always had a passion for music. I'm a classically trained violinist, and my parents started me on violin really young, so I could be like the perfect well-rounded student, okay? So the other problem with that is, though they wanted me to be creative and I guess explore that side of my personality, they also wanted me to stick to, of course, medicine or engineering or, you know, one of those really common things. So I always had this passion for music, but I always felt this pressure from home that I had to fit this mold that I didn't necessarily agree with. So I feel there's a pressure from family and, of course, the culture. Also, I think, as Shay said, we don't really get a lot of experience in life to figure out what we want to do. And like you referenced the quote where you have to raise your hand until you're like 17 or 18 to go to the restroom, then one day you just wake up and you're an adult, I think that really impacts your outlook on adulthood when overnight you're supposed to become this grown-up person. So I think it's a matter of family, it's a matter of society, and then of course, for me, since I have a passion for the creative, when we live in a capitalist society, any position or I think any career that doesn't actively like generate a lot of income is automatically frowned upon because we kind of place value on people by how much money they can generate for us. I think that's another thing that goes into it.
I want to amen to that. Sorry.
All right. Amen. Yeah, thank you for that. Definitely appreciate that insight. So, I mean, just based upon what Shay and Jen just shared with us, Vincent, if you are able to share some of your thoughts, and then Takunda as well, if you're able to join us, and then we can have more of a free-flowing conversation. I just want to make sure everyone's able to share their input. But have you ever personally experienced discouragement from pursuing something that you're interested in, whether it just be like a hobby or whether it be a career aspiration? And if so, how were you able to deal with that? Like, were you able to overcome it? Are you still battling with it? Whatever that might be. So first off, if we can have Vincent give his answer to that.
You have to. Oh, look at me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to repeat the question. Sorry.
Yeah. So I was just basically asking. It is all my questions are very long. They're run-ons. I'm sorry.
Repeat the whole question. Okay.
But basically, I was just asking, have you ever faced, like personally speaking, have you ever faced discouragement, whether you have like a career aspiration or whether you have any kind of hobby that someone thought you weren't suited for or whatever? Have you ever faced discouragement? And if you have, what did you do in response to that? Are you still dealing with it? Did you overcome it? If you could share that with people. Because I'm sure there's people that are watching that have faced discouragement, so they might be looking for someone that went through the same thing.
Yeah. I can go back to when I was in the university back in Cameroon, and I was part of the university's theater troupe, and I was a performing artist on stage. And my father is one of those African dads. You know what I mean? He's he. Yeah, I'm sure Benjamina understands. But yeah, my father is one of those African dads who, if you are the one who is not part of the crew who is doing sciences and trying to be a doctor and engineer, then you are off. So I think the backstory is that I started off by saying that I wanted to do political science in the university, and I said that when I was like 18 years old, and I'm sure from then to when I got to the university, we were not on good terms. And when I got into the university, I became part of that theater troupe, and I wanted to really put I really liked it. I really like being on stage. I like writing, I like poetry and all of that. And I think it's always that thing about your family and about the people who pay for your school, and which is the same thing which everybody has been saying here. Sometimes when people could actually provide for you that much, you equally don't want to disappoint them. You equally don't want to go against certain things which they have in mind for you. And the way our society is, all of us aspire to get to a level where we could take care of our parents. I'm sure, I want to believe so, that we have this, our own social security is the kids, you understand? And you believe that the much which your parents give to you is the much you can give to them, and you can give them above that. And I'm sure I was thinking about that, but I'm still working towards overcoming all of those things. I'm still trying to do what I really want to do. But the one thing I know is that I did most of what I wanted to do anyways. I acted at the university. When I was done with the university, I became a teacher. I was like 20 years old. Beulah didn't know that. I'm sure the other day I said it, you were surprised in the post, the forum.
I was
a teacher between the age of 20 and 24. And I was teaching kids in the high school. So it's kind of... It's one of those things which you believe that you could always overcome something as long as you have your mind on
Can
Thank
I
you
add
for
a couple
that.
things, or someone else going?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
No,
my
I was
bullet
I was
points.
just gonna I was gonna open it up to the floor.
Okay, cool. So should I speak or no?
I said I was gonna open it up to the floor, so that's perfect timing. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, let me stop. So I bullet pointed a couple things because Beulah knows me. I talk too long, so I have to make this short. So we've already mentioned identity issues, and I think that's also attached to not only American society, but us growing up as immigrant kids in the United States, whether we're born here or not. We're struggling in terms of where we fit in our gender and race sometimes in just in general, especially at school, because that's when I guess we are constantly reminded of our immigrantness because people don't like it, even though America is a country of immigrants. Like, so, it's a long story. Anywho, along with that, I think in a lot of our nuclear families is a lack of encouragement or a lack of genuine support for us coming up as just young kids and teens, a lack of support in embracing our own individuality. So even when I remember in college, I'd actually told my parents I wanted to be pre-med and I wanted to be a doctor, but they had heard from some other Nigerian family that you make more money faster being a pharmacist. So I actually had to argue with my parents to convince them to let me go to school to be a doctor. So there seems to be some sort of like cultural precedent to constantly compare other Nigerian children to one another. So it's not so much like a part of it is you want to impress or you want to make proud the people who sacrifice to support you going to school, but there's another part of it that's couched in constantly comparing you to your cousin, to your such and so, to some other girl who at that time and 5 years later and 10 years later isn't touching you and never will. Anywho, that's beside the point. That's beside the point. Next is financial restraints. So this is completely random, but kind of related. You guys, I'm sure you know Willow and Jaden Smith. They're the daughter and son of Will and Jada Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith. And a lot of people really embrace them and celebrate them because they're like new, hip, cool black kids, and they're different, and they're not afraid to be different. But people don't realize that they have a certain privilege, right? They're rich enough to not have to worry about getting a certain job to make a certain amount of money. They're already rich. They don't need to be doctors. They don't need to be lawyers. And their parents just so happen to be free-minded enough to let them put out albums and go on tours. But not all of us have that financial cushion. And that does inform the way our families encourage us to do certain things professionally. And also, there are tons of gender biases in African immigrant communities in terms of stepping out and doing something different. I don't know if you guys notice in America, most of the famous Nigerians, athletes, musicians, what have you, people who didn't do something that was doctor, engineer, research chemist, what have you, a lot of them are male. A lot of them are male. And a lot of them aren't the oldest in their family. They might have a couple other brothers and sisters. So they had that cushion. I can't jump out tomorrow and be Nicki Minaj. I can't. I'm the oldest daughter. Are you kidding me? My nephew. I'm the oldest. I'm the first daughter. I'm the oldest daughter of an Igbo man who is the oldest son of his father. I can't mess up, right? There's no cushion for that. So that's, aside from financial issues, that's also a cultural thing, right? We're just not allowed to bounce out in terms of where we are age-wise in our family, amongst our siblings, and our gender. Girls can't do certain things. Even when I was trying to be a doctor, my parents were technically counting the years it would take for me to get my diploma, so it wouldn't conflict with my peak fertility. They were like, so when will you get married? Our kids. And that was troubling. But a man doesn't have to worry about that. And lastly, there are no mentors. We don't mentor each other. We don't reach back and help other Nigerians, and it is exacerbated because so many Nigerian immigrant communities in America are so vastly spread out. So it's incumbent upon us to, you know, create a network, something like Ezibota, create a network, communicate with each other, educate each other, professional development, all that stuff. Just each one teach one, bring each other up. But we don't do that because we're too busy trying to stunt on each other because we're petty. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Appreciate the insight. I was actually having a conversation with an uncle of mine about the absence of mentors in the Nigerian communities, which is really sad because there are a lot of, I guess, seasoned professionals that have a lot
of them with a lot of money.
Share, but yeah. For some reason, it's not happening. So we're actually going to move on to another question, but before, I just wanted to allow anyone the opportunity to share discouragement that they faced. Maybe it's like really on tip of your tongue. I know I can see Benjamina's eyes. They're dancing.
Yes.
Benjamina?
No, but I just wanted to say also that it's not just in the Nigerian community. I mean, I'm Ghanaian, and I think I'm the only Ghanaian here, but it's also, I would say the whole, like, African, at least West African community, I think the lack of mentorship is key, and it will prevent a lot of things. And I just hope that what I do inspire people. That's why I even write and stuff like that. But discouragement, yes. As I was saying earlier, I study archaeology, which is a kind of weird thing for a black person, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, initially my parents, they weren't happy. Like, my dad was like, I didn't come to this country for you to be, you know, going around digging the ground and stuff like that. and we do a lot more. We do a lot more. Indiana Jones is not the stereotype. We do a lot more. But I kind of understand because I understand that, you know, our parents, they struggle to, you know, be in this country, to, you know, go past social and economic barriers. So I kind of understand it, and the financial part is, especially because if you guys know about archaeology is not a huge source of income. Like, you do what you get. So if you don't get into research, that's, you know, you do what you get. And also, I feel like, yeah, parents, friends, they all, like, overwhelm us with, like, aspirations and expectations. So we are kind of lost, trying to, you know, fulfill everyone's sort of dreams, and, you know, trying to be what our parents couldn't be and stuff like that. That's one thing. What I did to try and convince my parents was to really work hard and make them aware that, like, it's like any other path. You know, you have to be passionate and give your all to what you do. That's one thing. And also, Ijeoma, you were talking about things like race, gender, and social status and identity and all that stuff. I think that's very much influential because, related to what I was saying earlier, as a black person, you don't see yourself as anything else other than, I don't know, lawyer, businessman, I don't know, and all that stuff. So we are kind of restricted in our thinking, not because of us, but because of what we see. And again, the mentorship then comes to play again. You know, if I see, growing up, if I have seen, like, you know, an archaeologist, a black female archaeologist, okay, doing great, I'll be like, of course I can do it. But obviously, I'm struggling more because there's no one that can sort of give me, you know, a paid path, something like that. So yeah, I think, as for me, I feel like I'm a triple minority. I say it all the time, but it's really true. You know, I'm a black female and social, like, working class person. So all these, they play on me, and it's not, you know, it's not great. But we are trying to make it. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Sorry, I got kicked out. I'm like just in here soaking it all up. All right. So the next question that I have is going to be quick fire. If your answer could be 10 words or less, make sure you're really impactful because I want everyone to answer this. But it's a set of 3 questions, okay? But you're still only allowed to give 10 words or less. So I know it's a challenge, but I know we can do it. So the questions are, how do you define passion? What are you passionate about? And what is your biggest source of inspiration? Now, what I find really interesting is that the topic of the conversation is passion, and maybe it's because of the way that I've been phrasing the questions or like the questions that we have, but we spent the majority of our time talking about jobs and employment. So that's just really interesting to me, and I know EJ, you also like a few of you have spoken about writing, but I just find it really interesting. So once again, I'm going to repeat the question: how do you define passion? So that can be 1 or 2 words. What are you passionate about? And what is your biggest source of inspiration? And we're going to go ahead and start with Takunda because he's been having issues getting kicked out of the chat. We apologize for that. Are you with us?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, 10 words or less. Go.
Okay, I think passion is just this fire that drives you. What am I passionate about? To be honest, right now I don't have anything that I am passionate about. I believe passion is a finite resource. You will run out of passion eventually. So I think it's important from when you find your passion to then cultivate the discipline from it so that you can continue along that path. If that makes sense. So currently I am not passionate about anything because I'd like to think I've cultivated the discipline necessary to go on from that.
Okay. Appreciate that. Sorry about your technical difficulties. All right. Next, let's go to Shay. Shay, 10 words or less. Thank you.
Oh man.
Oh.
I know it's about passion. I can't remember exactly what the order of the questions are. Sorry.
It's okay. What are you passionate about? How do you define passion? And what's your biggest source of inspiration right now?
I think right now I'm currently passionate about, it seems odd, but really maximizing my talents and my skills and having a good lifestyle. And that's something I'm passionate about. It's not exactly the subject matter, but it's really me living and being able to use all my talents and skills. I draw my biggest inspiration from, I think, my parents and especially my dad, because it's kind of weird. I feel like I've seen him grow. It's weird. I'm a kid. Well, where towards the later part of his life, well, right now, and the older parts of my life when I was more like still a teenager, my dad started to sort of open up, and it felt like he was more pursuing a good lifestyle instead of a good money-making job. And so right now, what we have is that I feel like he's encouraged me to, it's not about necessarily reaching that top of money-making thing. It's more about laying the foundation so your family, your extended family, generations can have a good life and fulfilled life. You can do something you like, have a great lifestyle, and if you want to be a great doctor, if you want to be something up there, the controller class, go ahead. So that's where I draw my passion from. I am passionate about having a good lifestyle, and yeah, thank you.
Shay, that was really deep. Thank you for that. I know I sound sarcastic, but I'm not being sarcastic. I know. No, I'm sorry. It's just the tone of my voice. That was really deep. Like seriously, it's a curse. I'm sorry. I loved it. It's a curse. It's a curse. All right. So next up, can we go ahead and ask Mary in 10 words or less?
Yeah, I would define passion as something that gets you up every morning and you look forward to it. What am I passionate about? I'm passionate about leaving impact on the world however I can with the skills that I've been blessed to have. What's the third question? Oh, where do I get inspiration from? Or who? Well, honestly, with the kind of life that I'm pursuing and the kind of, I guess, opportunities I've had, there's no one person that I can think of outside of myself that's pursuing the same thing. So, interestingly enough, I get it from just random people that have interacted with my blog and that are also pursuing things that aren't stable or won't give you a stable income or whatever. And like the other day, we were just, one of my friends and I were like going back and forth about our future plans that seem so crazy. And like I've been getting opportunities to, you know, go kind of into launching to like really, I can't really describe it, but anyway, so that there's that, and it's just really inspiring to be around those people, even with the like internet stuff.
Thank you. Jen, 10 words or less.
How do I define passion? I would say happiness and peace, as simple as that sounds. What am I passionate about? I'm very passionate about the American dream. Not in the way, not in the classical sense, but just continuing the whole purpose my parents brought us all here for, I guess. My biggest inspiration, I would have to say my family, my generations before me all worked together to make me, so I want to continue that legacy. So yeah, that's my biggest inspiration, just seeing how strong they were. I just draw inspiration from that.
Thank you for that. EJ, 10 words or less.
10 words. You know I'm going to break the rule.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
For passion, I kind of define it as something that spiritually nourishes you, and that spiritual nourishment manifests itself physically, right? So there's this, I was listening to some podcast, and the woman was saying, you know it's your passion when if you see someone else doing it, you hurt. Or if you see someone that's inspiring, it like you ache for more inspiration, or you reach out to them. So that's what I define as my passion. For me, like I react to a well-written song, a well-written television series, a well-written article, like it's like a hot rap song. Like I just like oh God. No, I'm so serious. Like I love well-written things. I live for this. I live for grammar. I live for style. I love it. And it's extremely important to pursue that. And for me, right now, what's important is kind of just taking a leap of faith and just trying to be about action, trying to be about developing the skill and developing my passion into something tangible and taking advantage of my 20s to do that instead of dreaming about it until I'm 40-something. That's not hot. I got to do it now, right? So it's difficult because of the things we discussed before, but I think it's extremely important, and it's something I'm working on doing with Beulah's help. She's been great to me ever since we met, and my friends, a lot of my family members, especially my younger siblings. I'm getting a lot of inspiration from people who are younger than me, which is very interesting. But kind of just taking advantage of that and using that as a way to find my peace. So pursuing my passion is a way that I find peace, and keeping that going. That's it.
Thank you. Benjamina?
Yeah, I just want to take on what we have been already saying. I think that passion is actually what makes you want to wake up in the morning, you know, at 8 a.m. in the morning, and actually something that gives you peace. Because obviously we were saying trying to take on everyone's dream and fulfill everyone's dream, but if you are passionate about something, you do that something without feeling guilty because you're not following other people's, you know, will or desire. So that's one. How I pursue my passion by mentoring people. I'm really passionate about mentorship, and I do this through my work as representative of the Black students at my university, and also working with freshman students, international students. That's something that really, really gives me joy because I get to, you know, what I know it's inspiring to them, and that's amazing because I don't like it just makes me happy. So yeah, I get to work with human capital, and that's pretty amazing, I think. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Vincent?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll define passion as gaining with thyself. You gain with yourself in the way that you know yourself, you choose yourself, and you kind of gain with yourself. So it still ties down to what most people have been saying: getting up in the morning and doing that thing which you love the most. So make sure you gain with yourself. So know yourself very well and know your strengths to be able to gain with them. What I'm passionate about right now, writing. Try my best to do that right now as much as I can. Who um, my inspiration comes from my mother. I'm sure most people will say that, but apart from my mother, who's a very strong woman and a very dedicated woman to her family and to her own business. She actually showed me what a woman should be like. Not sounding any way sexist, but she showed me that in some way she never actually kind of made gender an issue in the house. So boys were actually taught to do what girls would do in some way, and I'm sure that people will argue me for what girls should do and what boys should do, but boys were not made to be called boys, if you understand what I mean. Boys were not made to be doing which, they'll say boys go and play and girls go to the kitchen. No, everybody goes to the kitchen, everybody goes and play. It's everybody was. So she never did something like share it. But apart from that, I've met so many wonderful women in my life, and I'll just say women generally inspire me. My mother particularly, but it's all about women. They are great, just wonderful.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Vincent.
Thank
and then
you.
lastly, Wasu.
Hi. So, quickly, I think passion is something that you can do without getting paid for it. Something that if somebody says, okay, let's go ahead and do this, and you're like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and do it without having to be paid for it or without having to have any incentive. It's something that you can just say, I want to do this, and you don't want any material favor in return. It takes a lot to be able to do something like that if it's not something you're passionate about, honestly. So, what I'm passionate about, the first thing is that I like helping people, and leading into that is making things better. When I see situations that I think this could be better, those are things that I'm really passionate about. Like I feel like, okay, we can always make things better. And then leading from that, what inspires me is broken things. When I see something that needs to be fixed, I'm like, okay, I need to do this. Yeah, those are the kind of things that I'm passionate about, and that is why, and that's one of the reasons why, the situation in Africa, based on like different things, poverty, healthcare, lack of water, lack of food. Those things are things that I'm very passionate about, and those are the kind of things that inspire me and make me want to like gain the kind of training that I need to one day in future be able to go back and go and help as much as I can.
Okay, thank you for that. Just wanted to share the thoughts of somebody that's watching us live. His name is Raymond. He said, you may be passionate at something, but it doesn't mean you're good at it. Your passions change over time. It's very hard to prioritize your passions, and it's better to focus on something that you're good at and then to build on that passion. You have to use it to develop all of your passions. So that's a very different perspective on what we were sharing. But I think it's important for us to, just kind of be aware of the different opinions people have. So unfortunately, our chat is coming to an end. I know we usually go like 30 minutes over, but trying to honor and respect people's time and keep it within the hour range. So I am going to allow everyone to give their closing words, but I just wanted to give a few shout outs. So first off, shout out to Jen and Mary for joining us for the very first time. We appreciate it. So we can just, okay, no, okay. Thank you. There we go. Oh. Okay, just a few claps is good. No, but thank you. Yeah, we're excited that you guys join us, and we do this every month, at the last Saturday of every month. So we hope you'll be joining us next month in June. with that being said, I like to give a shout out to Shay and Takunda, who were with us last month, and they liked us enough to come back. So thank you for that. Okay, there we go. Okay. Amen. Amen. Yes. Also wanted to give a shout out to Benjamina and Wasio, who are new contributors on the Ezibota contributing team. Very proud to have them. Excited to share their work with everyone. So thank you.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to them. Yes. Important, very important people. And then lastly, wanted to give a shout out to our Ezibota old heads, EJ and Vincent, who have been with us from the very beginning. Always loyal, always excited about our projects. Thank you guys for joining us once again. Thank you. Okay. No? All right, yes, okay, here we go. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, just before everyone else gives their closing words, I'll give my closing words. I'm always excited to do these because I'm able to meet people who are literally everywhere in the world and literally doing not everything, but doing such different things that I can look at and say, wow, that's amazing. I wonder how they got to that, or wow, that's amazing. Like, how are they doing that, and how is their heritage affecting their path? So I always look to connect. I always look to network with people, and I would definitely be hitting y'all up via email after this. So thank you for joining us. This is the first full chat we've had with all 10 spots taken up. So I hope this is something that continues throughout the months to come. Be aware that you can continue the conversation that we started on our discussion board if you're a member. Membership is now free, and it takes about 10 seconds or less than 10 seconds to become a member. And so our message board is private. Only members are able to comment, and that's to keep away trolls and to keep away people that are just out here to call us niggers and be like, shut up, you're dumb. We don't want that. We want to have conversations with substance. So that's why we do that. Yes, amen. Yes, let's do it. So yeah, just thank you everyone for joining us, and just gonna allow everyone to give their closing words. We're gonna go ahead and start with Wasil, because he accuses me of always ending with them. So if you can just give your closing words real quick, Wasil.
Oh, it's a good thing I was writing my thoughts down. Okay, so basically, my last words are more of an advice. The one big advice I would give is as a human being, try and know yourself, and that could be by taking an assessment test or asking people about their opinions, like, what do you think I'm good at? So because if you know what you're good at, you know what kind of impact you can have on the world. You know what things you can do to make things better. Now, it could be things better for everybody else or things better for yourself, but if you know who you are and if you know what skills, because everybody has one, everybody's good at something, and if you know what yours is, then you can get to move to the step where you can start to change things around. That's all from me.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Takunda?
I was out of the loop for most of the conversations. I actually don't know what to say as a closing statement, but no matter what your passion and your talent, I really think it's important that we should use them to better the community around us, regardless of whatever career path we choose.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought there. Okay, thank you. Shay?
Sorry, I just had to unmute. Closing words, I would say that I think I would impart to everyone that you should work on building a life that you can be proud of, and going for your passions. And I feel like passion. Sorry, the last point. If your passion gives you money, that's where it's perfect. So yeah, I didn't really think about what I was gonna say, but that's it. I guess.
Vincent?
Sorry, I'm trying to look at something. I'm trying to talk at the same time. Sorry, everyone, I'm using my phone. It's weird. It's the weirdest thing I've ever done. Ezibota has this thing which they always ask you what a community is. I've seen, I follow Ezibota on Instagram, everybody should, but I've seen many definitions of a community. And this comes to the point which I want to say as my last word. When you meet people here, don't let them go. You understand? I have just picked out so many things from here. Wasiu, I'm definitely hitting you up. I always say this thing to every new guy who comes on the chat. I say there's a plan of all male like an all male thing for Ezibota, and I'm going to eat you up. Shay knows about this. I've already told him about it, but it's going to take time. I know it's going to take time, but we're going to get there. But it's all about the community. And what I think Wasi was equally trying to insinuate was the fact that as much as you have your passion and you have your drive, you should equally pinpoint those people who could actually take you there. You understand? Angels are walking all around you. Stop talking to the devil. Like seriously, like stop just talking to people who are either slowing you down or telling you that your dream is stupid, or just stop talking to the wrong people because angels are all around you. They don't need to put on white. Sometimes they put on black clothes, but they're angels. Just talk to them. And they may be found on this community. They may be found on any other platform which you are on. They may be that person whom you met randomly in that coffee shop. Just make sure you are listening to your angels. Like stop listening to that devil. That's simple.
Thank you, Vincent. I love that. Angels are working all around you. Stop talking to the devil. Yes. I love
that. Copyright on that. Copyright on that.
Did you get that from a Hallmark card or is that you? If I can credit you. I'm just okay, it's you? Okay, I like that. That was nice. Mary, closing words?
I would say that the biggest mistake you can make is coming to the end of your life and looking at a life of regret. And I would say that, with that being said, if there is a burning desire, a passion, a skill that you know that you're good at, to go for it. And I know that, usually the path to success is uncomfortable. So if you're uncomfortable, you're probably in a good place. And I know with multiple identities, with family pressures, with an individualistic society versus our African collectivism, it will be uncomfortable if it means going outside of what your parents wish, but it'll be worth it. And I say that to myself too, and I'm like almost talking to myself when I say this because I definitely know how it's going to be a struggle for me. But yeah, so in the same way that I encourage myself, I want to encourage everyone else to go for it, whatever that thing is, to go for it. If you needed a sign, this was it.
Yes, encourage them, girl. Benjamina?
Yeah, mine's more like a thank you. Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for the work they do because I feel like first of all I really get so much inspiration from all of you. I've been following most of you. I'm not a stalker, but so I really want to thank everyone. By following your passion, you are inspiring someone else. So the moment you actually submit your will, to someone else's project, that is not just affecting you, but also affecting people that really look up to you. You owe them nothing, but it's important to do what you feel inside, and that is powerful and impactful on other people. So yeah, thank you everyone for what you guys do by following this passion, by writing, by speaking with other people, by organizing, and by taking care of a platform like Ezibota. Beulah, this goes to you. Yeah, thank you so much because I saw that you recently graduated, so it takes a lot to put everything together. So thank you so much for what you do, and all of you guys, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that was so sweet. I'm not being sarcastic. Once again, I know my voice sounds the way it does. I'm sorry. Jen?
I just want to start off by saying thank you guys so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. It was very nice to speak with you guys and see all these different perspectives, and I will definitely be back. I guess my closing statement would be, a lot of the time our passions and our careers are not one and the same. So if you can, if this is at all possible, which isn't always the case for everyone, find a hobby that makes you money and find a hobby that makes you happy. That's it.
I love
Okay.
that. I love it.
Yeah. Did you say? I was like, did you say find a hobby that makes you money and find a hobby that makes you happy? Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's another good one. Wow. We're having some quotables today. I love it.
Oh my God, that's
I love it.
amazing.
Put a TM on that. Put a TM on that. Don't.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
Vincent and Jen. Vincent and Jen need to team up and come up with a T-shirt line. I would buy it for you. Thank you for that. And then lastly, EJ, if you could share your closing thoughts.
Yeah, so once again, thank you guys so much for having me and listening to me ramble for the past couple of months. I tried to stay off the chat so I wouldn't talk over people and let other people get the chance to have these discussions and experiences. But I've written down my kind of Beulah. I caught that, Beulah. I've written down a couple of closing statements. The first. Think of pursuing your passion as a form of self-care. I think a lot of people should think of pursuing their passion as they value eating or drinking water or getting sleep, because at the end of the day, it's that important. It'll take you longer to realize how important it is, but it is that important. Also, to agree with Vincent, discretion is valuable. We do not value discretion. I've already told you guys what I'm passionate about, but I haven't told you about specific things. And it's not because y'all ain't cool. You're cute and everything. I love you guys. But the issue we've had in recent years with social media is that everyone feels the need to post about everything, tell everyone about everything, and not everyone needs to know everything you dream about or want. Sometimes you need to protect your passions. You need to protect your dreams, develop them into something, and feel comfortable creating a system where you encourage yourself and you take advantage of encouragement from a select group of people that you know, your friends, family, or otherwise, or mentors, to really be good at what you want to be good at, and kind of keep away trying to impress other people by being too forthcoming about what you want to do. And lastly, make sure your passion is substantive. Don't be passionate about wanting to be famous. Like, we have an entire group of people now who are famous for being famous, which is the most meta thing that has ever happened in pop culture ever. But like, it's cool to want to actually fix a problem or change the world or do something of substance, especially as a woman. We've kind of been conditioned that such and so is good at acting because she's pretty, not because she's good at acting. Such and so is a great writer because look at her hair. Like, it doesn't be good at what you're good at and be proud of developing and honing and mastering ultimately a skill or a field that you're interested in. And that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you very much. So just want to give a reminder to our video participants as well as people watching this live that you can become a member to connect with all of these beautiful people as well as the other members that we currently have on our platform. You can just visit www.ezibota.com/register and we will see you on the internet. And that concludes our chat. Thank you.